You know who you are. You stay late. You deliver. You never complain. And somehow, things keep getting harder, not easier. That's because you're not the problem. You're the target. Let that sink in. Your boss won't scream at you, won't insult you. They will quietly dismantle your existence, only when you're busy trying to impress them. Psychologists call it workplace mobbing. And today, we decode exactly why your boss is quietly ending your career. Watch out for these 10 signs, and if it resonates, gear up. Because if you don't act, your boss will eat your career alive. There's a phenomenon in workplace psychology where high performance doesn't trigger a promotion. It triggers a threat response. If your boss feels inadequate, your talent isn't an asset. It's a mirror reflecting their own failures. They won't fire you because they need your work. They'll just make sure you never move past them. And that's exactly what the next 10 signs are going to show you. Sign number 1. He steals your credit. Proudly, without remorse. You finish the project, you write the report, you solve the problem. And then, in the meeting where it matters, in front of leadership, in front of the people who decide your future, your boss presents it, without your name, without a mention, without a pause. It doesn't happen loudly. There's no theft you can point to. It just becomes, "We came up with this," or "The team put this together." Vague enough to be deniable, consistent enough to be intentional. Over time, your contributions disappear from the record. And in organizations, if your name isn't attached to results, you don't have results. Your reputation is being built, just not by you and not in your favor. Sign number 2, they don't break your bones. They break your thinking. You used to have opinions in meetings, strong ones. You used to speak up, push back, offer ideas without rehearsing them 3 times in your head first. Now you hesitate. You second guess. You run every thought through a filter before it leaves your mouth. Will this make them react badly? Is this too much? Am I overstepping? That's not personal growth. That's intellectual shrinkage, and it was engineered. When your brain repeatedly anticipates negative judgment from someone with power over you, it starts editing your thoughts before they become words. Over time, you don't just stop sharing ideas. You stop having them with the same confidence you once did. Your boss didn't need to call you stupid. They just needed to react badly enough, often enough, that your own mind started doing the silencing for them. The most dangerous thing they stole from you wasn't your voice. It was your belief that your thinking was worth hearing. Sign number 3, they build a paper trail against you, silently, methodically. You think you're having a bad week. They think they're building a case. Every missed deadline, even the ones caused by their own last-minute changes, gets documented. Every misunderstanding gets logged. Every moment you pushed back, asked a question, or showed any friction gets recorded somewhere you'll never see. You're not aware of any of this because that's the point. The paper trail isn't meant to correct you. It's meant to corner you at a moment of their choosing, in a room you weren't prepared for. And when that moment arrives, a performance review, an HR meeting, a sudden restructuring, they come with documents. You come with your memory. And in every organization on earth, documents beat memory. Psychologists call this preemptive documentation bias. Building a one-sided record designed not to improve you, but to eliminate you. The file they're building has nothing to do with your performance. It has everything to do with their exit strategy. Sign number 4, they isolate you. Intentionally, invisibly. You're still on the team, still in the office, still getting assigned work. But you're always the last to know. Decisions get made in conversations you weren't invited to. Relationships form around you and never quite include you. Here's the twist. It's not that you're unimportant. It's that you're too important, and your boss knows it. So they keep you buried in execution, too busy to be visible. Psychologists call this social exclusion by omission. Just a pattern of absences that slowly kills your visibility. They don't need to push you out. They just need to make sure no one is pulling you in. Sign number 5, they move the goalpost. Every time you score, you hit the target. They move it. You deliver exactly what was asked. They add new requirements, retroactively. You adapt. They change the standard. You exceed it. They question your process. The feedback is never "you failed." It's always "not quite there yet," polished enough to sound reasonable, repeated enough to break you. Psychologists call this contingent punishment, and its most devastating effect isn't frustration. It's the moment you stop believing your best effort will ever be enough. Your performance was never the issue. Your momentum was, and they needed to stop it. Sign number 6, they give you the work. They give someone else the glory. You are the engine. Everyone knows it, except the people who need to know it. The high-visibility projects land on your desk because you're the only one who can deliver them. And you do, consistently, without complaint. But when results get presented upstairs, someone else is standing at the front of the room. When praise comes down, it lands on someone else's shoulders. Psychologists call this organizational visibility bias. Narrative is controlled by whoever has access to leadership. Your boss has that access. You don't. You aren't being overlooked. Someone is standing in front of your light, deliberately. Sign number 7, they hoard information, and your ignorance is the strategy. You find out about the decision after it's already been made. You walk into the meeting without the context everyone else was given, and every time, the explanation is the same. I forgot to loop you in. I assumed you already knew. Once is an oversight. Twice is a pattern. 10 times is a system. Psychologists call this strategic ambiguity, the deliberate withholding of context to keep someone permanently underprepared. You were never disorganized. You were just never given what you needed to succeed. Sign number 8, they block your growth. Then act like they're mentoring you. They talk about your development, frequently, enthusiastically. In your one-on-ones, they use words like potential, trajectory, long-term fit. They nod when you share your ambitions. They tell you your time is coming. And then the stretch assignment goes to someone else. The training budget gets allocated elsewhere. The high-visibility project, the one that would have put you in front of the right people, lands on a different desk, again. When you ask about it, the answer is always reasonable. You're too valuable where you are right now. The timing isn't right. We need you focused on your current role. Translation, I need you exactly where you are, because the moment you grow past this role, I lose control of you. Psychologists call this developmental gatekeeping, positioning yourself as a mentor while systematically blocking the opportunities that would allow someone to outgrow you. Your ambition isn't the problem. Your ambition is the threat, and they've been managing it, carefully, quietly, and with a smile, from the very beginning. Sign number 9, they don't criticize your work. They criticize your worth. There's a difference between feedback and erosion. Most people don't realize which one they're receiving until the damage is already done. Feedback sounds like, this report needs stronger data in section 3. Erosion sounds like, I'm just not sure you really understand what we're looking for here. Feedback is specific. Erosion is atmospheric. Feedback targets the work. Erosion targets you. And it's never loud. It's a sigh in a meeting when you speak, a raised eyebrow when you present a number. Are you sure about that? Delivered just publicly enough to plant doubt in the room. Over time, you stop hearing the comments as feedback. You start hearing them as verdicts. You begin to perform not for results, but for approval. Psychologists call this identity-based criticism. And its long-term effect isn't just reduced performance. It's a fundamental shift in how you see yourself as a professional. That question, am I even capable, was installed, and it was installed on purpose. Sign number 10, they destroy your reputation. In rooms you'll never enter. You'll never hear it directly. That's the point. It happens in a hallway conversation after a leadership meeting. A carefully worded concern dropped into an HR discussion. A hesitation just long enough to be noticed. When your name comes up for an opportunity. A great person, but delivered to exactly the right people at exactly the right moment. None of it is loud. None of it is documented. None of it can be traced back. But the effect accumulates in how people respond to you, in the opportunities that quietly stop coming, in the slight but unmistakable shift in how the room feels when you walk in. Psychologists call this reputation poisoning, and it is the most sophisticated weapon in a toxic boss's arsenal. Because your reputation enters rooms before you do, and if someone is quietly shaping it against you, you are fighting a battle you don't even know is happening. They didn't need to fire you. They just needed to make sure that when the right opportunity came, the people making the decision already had doubts. Doubts they couldn't quite explain, except they didn't come from nowhere. Your toxic boss isn't incompetent. They're calibrated. Calibrated for mediocrity. Because mediocrity is safe, predictable, and controllable. A team that underperforms just enough gives the manager a permanent reason to exist. Extraordinary work breaks that system. When you deliver something exceptional, leadership notices, comparisons get made, and suddenly the gap between what you're capable of and what your boss has been producing becomes visible. Psychologists call this mediocrity protection, the active suppression of high performance by insecure managers. You weren't punished for failing. You were punished for excelling. You aren't crazy. You aren't too sensitive. You aren't imagining it. You are simply someone who refused to be mediocre in an environment that was specifically designed to punish that. Every sign you just watched, every stolen credit, every moved goalpost, every blocked opportunity, every poisoned conversation in a room you never entered. None of it was about your performance. All of it was about your potential, and what your potential exposed about the person standing above you. Start protecting your future, because that is the only thing worth your energy at this point. Document everything, not out of paranoia, but out of precision. Build visibility outside your direct chain, find allies in other departments, and start treating your career as something that belongs to you, not something being managed on your behalf by someone who was never on your side. The professionals who come out of these situations strongest are the ones who quietly built an exit while the boss was still convinced they had them contained. You were never the problem. You were the standard. And standards don't lower themselves to protect the people who couldn't meet them. It's time to go somewhere that deserves you. Like and subscribe if you want more videos on workplace psychology